We played the new Call of Duty for over 100 hours straight to unlock the Mastery Camo Singularity. If you're unfamiliar with the Mastery Camo grind, you have to complete every challenge for every weapon to unlock the final Mastery Camo. This one camo serves as proof that you have done every masochistic challenge that the game has to offer. There's 3 different types of challenges that need to be done in order on each weapon. The military camos, which are usually simple challenges like headshots, the special camos, which are much more weapon specific, and the mastery camos, which we'll talk more about later when we get there. Obviously, I don't think one person could play Call of Duty for 100 hours straight. Luckily, we're a team of 3 best friends doing this challenge in 8-hour rotating shifts until we're done. My name is Bushy, you'll meet Torsads a little later on, and I'm going to hand it off to Ratty Ry right now for the first shift of the challenge.
Hey guys, Ratty Ry here. Time to start this shit off right. This grind started at 4 AM our time, and as the resident roommate with the most degenerate sleep schedule, I was the first one in. The reason we started at 4 AM was due to the rolling release of Black Ops 7. By making it appear like we were in New Zealand to the game, we managed to get an 18-hour head start on the camo grind when the game first opened up for the New Zealanders. I play by far the most Call of Duty of all 3 boys, so my initial mission was to get the weapons I viewed as potentially the hardest done first. This meant I was starting hot on the snipers, while playing against all the sweats, also abusing the early start tech. The initial camo challenge for the snipers is getting 80 one-shot kills, which wasn't too bad with the first weapon, the VS Recon. After a few games, I moved on to the special challenges, which varied incredibly for each weapon. For the Recon, it was more one-shot kills, kills with a 4x scope equipped, and 2 kills without reloading 10 times. This didn't really change how I used the weapon much. It was simply a less zoom scope and continue to farm kills, and before I knew it, I was on to my first gold challenge. This is the first of the 3 mastery challenges on every gun. You have to do them in order, so our goal for right now is to get gold on as many guns as possible before moving on to Arclight and Tempest. Most guns had the same gold challenge, which was 3 kills without dying 10 times. Not awful, but in these sweaty lobbies, a bit harder than I would have thought, but with a bit of patience and camping lanes like an absolute rat, I had the first gold camo of the stream completed. Not too shabby. This is probably a good time to mention the secondary camo I was working on, launcher camos. These are generally always the most annoying weapons to get mastery camos on, and I wanted to get started on them early. The first challenge for them is destroying 50 score streaks. So throughout my matches, if anyone called in a UAV or attack helicopter, I was prioritizing blasting those in the hopes that we could finish these off quickly and worry about other things later. I was making progress, and that's what matters. On to my second main gun. I ran the Shadow SK, a semi-auto sniper that seemed absolutely disgusting, but that I struggled a bit more with than the Recon. I did get all the one-shots done and the double kills. There were 2 different challenges for the special tier that required more effort. 50 kills with a silencer, and specifically 15 long shots. These weren't too bad either, but it was a bit tough to figure out long shots on new maps. I essentially just loaded in and looked for the longest line of sight I could find, and stared down it fully scoped, waiting for my poor victims to walk into my crosshairs. I finished those in a reasonable time, and just had the kill streaks left for gold. Tragically, my time was up as the next shift needed to get started. 1 gold done, and 1 almost there. Not the strongest start, but I only had about 4 hours, and the lobbies were beyond sweaty, so now it's Torsad's turn.
Hey guys, Torsads here, and as I'm starting my shift, I'm getting a debrief from Ryan about how the game has been playing so far, how sweaty some of the lobbies have been, and what guns may be easy or harder to complete for the camo grind. Since I don't play nearly as much COD as Ratty does, I need to get familiar with the game and all of its new movement, and one of the best ways to do that while still getting progress on all of our camo challenges is going into the hardcore playlist with any of the assault rifles. Hardcore, among a few other things, reduces every player's health to 30, which is a guaranteed one-shot headshot for almost every weapon in the game. And in Black Ops 7, for just about every weapon in the game, the first set of camo challenges, called the military camos, is going to be getting 80 headshots. So I start by using the first AR, the M15, and this gun felt very meta-like, as in everyone in every lobby was using it. Having an AR with above average stats made the 80 headshots fly in just under a few hours, but with the military camos done, now comes the fun special camos. And for the M15, we are met with 20 underbarrel launcher kills, 30 objective kills, and 50 kills while moving, all of which are pretty easy and straightforward. For the underbarrel kills, we slap on a noob tube and stay playing in hardcore, that way we don't miss any kills by people using any flak jacket or me just missing. As for the objective kills, we tend to play games like Hardpoint and Domination, and always stay in either the Hardpoint and try and get kills, or stay in a Domination flag and get kills. The getting kills while moving you don't really have to worry about in Black Ops 7 since the movement is so fast and you're just always moving while getting kills. And once all these camos are completed, we are now on to gold, where we have to get 3 kills without dying 10 times. And this was honestly easier than the headshots, as in hardcore it felt just about like every life I would get 3 kills and then die. So naturally just playing the game how I wanted in hardcore meant I finished the gold pretty quickly. And now we have our first gun gold of the shift, and we continue down the line of ARs, with the AK being next. So first up was the headshots, which almost felt easier with this weapon since the recoil was greater, meaning if I aimed at the chest, the weapon would naturally ride up and get a headshot by the second or third shot. So after 80 headshots came the special camos again, the first being the 20 underbarrel launcher kills, but this time we would get 2 new additions, 2 kills without reloading 10 times, and 30 hipfire kills. Since it only takes a few bullets to kill in hardcore, there tends to be less reloading anyways, and with the hipfire kills, I like to play a little more fast-paced and up close, so that really wasn't a problem. But now all 3 of these camo challenges go down swimmingly. As for getting gold with the AK, since the AK has higher damage and all I had to do was aim somewhere at the body and shoot, it was almost always a kill, making the 3 kills without dying fly by. So now we have 2 gold ARs done, and next is the MXR, a slow rate of fire AR with a ton of recoil and very high damage, making it just a tad harder to get headshots with in the first 2 ARs we did, but my shift was nearing its end and I was only able to get about 30 headshots deep into the challenge, so time to pass it off to Bushy.
Sup nerds, Papa Bushy is here for my first shift. We're currently 10 hours into the grind, but this is also 8 hours before global release because of the New Zealand strat that Ratty mentioned earlier. For that reason, the lobbies are still pretty sweaty as the only people playing are the ones that actually live in those time zones for real and the ones that care enough to go out of their way to play early like this. On top of that, I'm not gonna lie to you boys, I am out of practice with Call of Duty. The last time I played a Call of Duty game was Black Ops 3, so it'll definitely take a little bit of time to get back into the swing of things. With that said, I want to be using something a little bit easier to start out, just so that I have a better chance of competing with all these players that are likely going to be better than me. The first weapon that I use is from the assault rifle class with the MXR. And honestly, it's pretty rough jumping right back into Call of Duty, playing hardcore, and trying to hit headshots. Obviously, my aim is a little shaky, but I know it's going to come back with just a little bit of practice. But since it's hardcore and not everyone is going for headshots, I end up dying a whole lot. The good news is though, I still managed to finish my headshots in a decent time, then work on the special camos. The only one I really have a tough time with here is kills with an underbarrel launcher attachment. And I'll admit, this one is 100% a reading issue. I put on the underbarrel launcher that had delayed explosions instead of the one that blew up on impact, so for a solid 30 minutes I was trying to do this challenge thinking that I needed to play hardcore while direct impacting with the grenade. But finally, someone in the chat pointed out my mistake and I switched to the correct launcher and the challenge flew by. The good news is, at this point, I'm feeling much more comfortable with the game, so the idea of getting 3 kill streaks for the gold challenge with this weapon, and I don't even need to aim at the head, doesn't sound too bad at all. I breezed through this challenge and that's my very first gold done 3.5 hours into my shift. Definitely not the best time, but also not terrible. My goal was to average out to 1 gold every 3 hours, meaning that we would be done with golds in about 90 hours. And that would be the most time-consuming part of the challenge by far. So I definitely need to pick up the pace because I can't be taking that long on any weapon, much less a weapon that's on the easier side like an assault rifle, but that was my first gun and I'm refamiliarizing myself with the game, and I should be able to make the next guns go faster. That's why I go down the list of assault rifles and pick out the X9 Maverick. This is a 3-round burst assault rifle, and just like most other weapons in the game, the first thing that I need to do is get 80 headshots. I feel like burst weapons are very slightly worse for this sort of challenge because when you're playing hardcore, any bullet is a one-shot kill for the most part, and burst weapons tend to either hit a whole burst or miss entirely, especially when you're aiming for the head, so it just makes it take a little bit longer to reset your shot if you do end up missing. With all that said, I work on Maverick for about 1.5 hours and get a little over 50 headshots with it. Not great, but not the worst either. The thing is, during that time, I was playing against a lot of very good players that were calling in mini score streaks. And as Ratty mentioned earlier, all three of us have been passively working on the launcher camos that need to kill 50 score streaks each in order to unlock the special camos. So in this case, getting shit on and getting a bunch of score streaks called in against me actually worked out pretty well for me. I managed to complete all the military camos for both launchers, letting me start working on the special camos. I started with the Arc. 2 of the 3 challenges read as essentially just kill 10 score streaks. That won't be hard to do at all, but the third is to get a kill without taking damage 10 times. This weapon is really bad. It has a charge up time before you can fire, it has a cooldown time before you can start charging it again, the splash damage is awful, and the bullet velocity is genuinely terrible. So I expect this one to be a little bit of a struggle, and I expect it to be an even bigger problem when the difficult challenges for this gun come up later. However, since I needed to not take damage for this challenge, I thought hardcore would be a good idea, making the splash damage of the launcher a little stronger, and if I end up losing the gunfight, then I would have taken damage anyway, so I don't really lose anything. Honestly, this challenge didn't end up being the worst thing in the world. I got through it pretty quickly, meaning that I only had the gold camo challenge left to do on this launcher for now. And praise the Lord that the gold challenge is not 3 kill streaks, but instead 3 kills in a single game, because getting 3 kills in a row with this thing would definitely be a grind. On top of being an easier challenge, this one is also bugged. Maybe it's been patched by the time you guys are watching, but it seemed like the progress carried over between games, which meant that this challenge essentially just read as get 30 kills with this gun. Not bad at all. At about 7 hours into my shift, I get the Arc M1 Gold, and the next challenge that I decide to take on is the special camos for the second launcher, the Arrow. I only have an hour left in my shift, so I'm going to do my best to get as close to gold as possible, but I don't expect to get there in time. The only tough special challenge with this launcher is direct hit kills. This is obviously going to be a core challenge because there's no reason to make myself squishier. In the short amount of time that I have, I managed to get all 3 special camos done before Ratty takes over, meaning that there's only the gold challenge left for the second launcher. And honestly, I'm pretty proud of myself for this first shift. It started off a little shaky, but I got 1 assault rifle gold, 1 about halfway there, and very close to both launchers gold, and those weapons should be on the harder end for camo challenges. I know I'm only going to get better as the challenge goes on, so I'm super happy with my first shift.
Daddy's back, sweethearts. Shift 2 is a go. I start this one off nice and simple and just go in to get some light kill streaks with the Shadow SK. Lobbies feel a lot better today since the game has launched globally compared to the morning, and I cleaned it up pretty quick to get my second gold of the stream. Well, that was fun and I felt good, so now I'm gonna ruin that with the XR3, a burst sniper rifle. This thing sucks absolute dong and shaft. The first challenge for it is one-shots, which you only get with headshots and core. So I move over to hardcore and solve that problem. Now the second problem emerges. This gun has a slight delay between when you click to shoot and when you actually shoot the gun. This is an intentional design choice that devastates me on a personal level. So no running around and trying to use this, no quick scoping. I have to play very patient and slow, holding a lane and picking people off. It's a bit boring, but the goal is to get these done, and I'm out here to be as efficient as possible. Eventually, after much pain, I do get it done, and the special challenges on this one are no bueno. 50 kills with no attachments, 15 long shots, and 2 kills without reloading 10 times. To solve the long shots problem, I tried something new, the large map 20v20 mode. And honestly, this was a great move. It was much easier to get the long shots here as well as the doubles, and I almost finished both just in one match. From there, I returned to hardcore to finish up those challenges and work on my kill streaks. This took much longer than I'd hoped because this weapon is saggy cheeks and I was getting lots of doubles but no triples. Not fun, but I am inevitable and did finish it after much more time than I had hoped. Okay, I'm gonna use a real gun now because I'm tired, Grandpa. For the next climb, I select a fan favorite, the M8. If you don't know this gun, go learn. It's a classic. And God, does it feel so good to be able to use something real for the first time in this game. This is another headshots weapon, so I'm blasting hardcore with it, and before I know it, I can actually prestige. And here, we made a bit of a mistake. The boys all agreed that prestiging sounded much more fun while we do this, which means resetting all our levels and having no good perks, wildcards, equipment, and most importantly, we have to unlock guns again. The right thing to do is to stay at level 55 with everything unlocked, so you can make ideal classes for each weapon. But we wanted to watch the number go up, so fuck it, we ball. I do have to re-unlock the M8 now, so I play a few games where I get to absolutely shit on kids before it's back to the grind. This is also not optimal and definitely a waste of time, but it's fun. Before I know it, I'm back to the grind and popping heads like it's Black Ops 2 again. God, I love this weapon. Once headshots are done, the special challenges are pretty free. Kills with a 4x scope, long shots, and kills without taking damage, which is new, but it's nothing too crazy. I slammed that out in like 2 games, and the kill streaks to unlock gold are literally so free. This was definitely my fastest weapon so far. Time to explain another piece of the prestige system. When you prestige, you get 1 permanent unlock token. This can be used on literally any weapon, perk, equipment, or wildcard in the game and allows you to always be able to use it even at level 1. I decided to use this on the Peacekeeper Assault Rifle, one of the latest weapons unlocked in the game. And boy oh boy was this a great choice. Up to this point I have not used a fully automatic, regular ass weapon, and it truly rejuvenated me at 4 AM. I was taking heads and claiming kill streaks like nobody's business. It was a blast. Until the special challenges, where I found a problem. 20 kills with a launcher equipped to your weapon. The other 2 challenges are so free they aren't worth mentioning, and this challenge itself isn't that bad. I just have personal issues from my deeply rooted trauma related to noob tubes. It hurt me to do it, but I put on the unholy grenade launcher and began annihilating people like a true degenerate. I felt unclean after it was done, and I began my cleansing by ripping nasty kill streaks to finish off my final gold of the shift. And God, did it feel so good to finally use real guns.
For my second shift, we had some goodies in store that Bushy left for us. We got to start off with the X9 Maverick AR and finish off most of the headshots, which honestly went easier than expected since this was a burst AR. The real trouble lies within the special camo challenges. The first 2 camo challenges are fairly simple. Get 30 kills without taking any damage. This is an easy hardcore challenge. And then 50 kills without any attachments, another easy challenge I could do basically anywhere. The last is getting 30 kills while the enemy is affected by your tactical equipment. You know, honestly, it doesn't sound that bad. I feel like I'd get flashbang a ton and die. How hard could this, really be? Well, apparently I'm the worst tactical user in the entire game because this challenge was absolutely brutal. So I switched from a hardcore to normal core. That way I would be able to stay alive long enough to throw a flash and hopefully get a kill. And this is where I have the flashbang versus stun dilemma. Which is better and more effective to throw at an enemy and get a kill? Well, I came to the conclusion that the answer is who knows? I was having an insane skill issue and couldn't even tell the difference because I was getting pooped on so bad. This challenge was taking an unbelievable amount of time and I was getting virtually nowhere. So I left it to try and think of a strat for later that actually worked and made this challenge a lot easier. So on to greener grass we go because now we get to start the subs. And the first sub is the Raiden 45K, which felt like your average submachine gun experience, but still make sure to put on all of the attachments to help with the vertical and horizontal recoil. So to hardcore, we go for the 80 headshots, and it does fly by. We do have little hiccups here and there. Since it is a sub, the damage is lower, so at those longer ranges, you are going to start to see headshot hit markers, which can be a little annoying. But the military camos get done, and now on to special camos, which are exactly the same as the ARs. 30 kills without taking any damage, 30 kills while sprinting, and 50 kills without any attachments. So we take a bare bones Raiden into hardcore, hardpoint, and dom, and get all 3 of these challenges done super quickly. So while staying in hardcore, we're also able to finish off the gold, completing our first sub. And moving on to the next is going to be the Dravik 45, which is by far the best submachine gun in the entire game. It felt like a sub-AR hybrid with no recoil, a good rate of fire, and great handling, making it one of the easiest headshot challenges I've done yet. The 80 fly by, and as do the special camos. 30 objective kills get done, 2 kills without reloading is a piece of cake that I can do in hardcore, but the third challenge is new. Get a kill shortly after sliding, diving, or wall jumping 15 times. Easy enough, all I had to do was change some perks around to make my movement faster and spam the slide button around every corner hoping I would find someone to kill. This challenge would honestly take a few games to get done, which was honestly surprising seeing how it was only 15 kills. Honestly, probably more of a testament to how bad I was playing, but the challenge gets done, and now on to gold, 3 kills without dying 10 times. Which, with an overpowered sub like this, was super smooth and easy to get done. So now we have 2 sub guns gold, and I was feeling more confident about the X9 we left a while ago, so we try our luck at the tactical kills once again, and it goes as expected. Terrible. getting only a few tactical kills a game, so we switch to another gun and leave that hellscape for another poor soul. But now we get to have some real fun and start using the pistols in hardcore, which is by far the most fun way to play hardcore in Call of Duty. The Jaeger starting pistol was a one-shot at about just any range, has insane movement and handling speed, and a quick rate of fire that would rival any AR or sub. And for some reason, it was super easy to get headshots with. Might have been a placebo, but I also opted out of using any attachments on the pistols since it felt like they were better without them. So to end my shift, I get the 80 headshots done and hand over the sticks to Bushy.
Welcome back to Bushy's personal purgatory because I have a horrendous challenge to complete today. After the end of my last shift working on the rocket launchers, I've had a change of heart about what sort of things I should be doing to best help out the team. I'm obviously the worst at Call of Duty, so we thought that I might benefit from using the good weapons, but I think it became obvious that I should instead be focusing on the very grindy, tedious challenges that require a little bit of luck and not a ton of skill. For that reason, I'm going to be doing the Arc Light launcher camos for this shift. Arc Light is the second mastery camo. To unlock this challenge, you first need gold completed on every weapon in the weapon class, and since we have both launchers gold already, I'm able to work on this challenge. I think this is probably the single most annoying challenge in the entire game, and if I'm able to do both of them in this shift and that's it, then it will be a success. The challenge is to get 10 double kills with each launcher. And based on how you heard me talking about the launchers in my last shift, I bet you can guess how tough this is going to be. I decided to start off with Arc because I think this one might be the more difficult of the two, and it takes me a long time to even begin to understand how to do this challenge. Winning a gunfight with it is almost impossible. A simple small strafe to the left or right will outpace the bullet velocity of this launcher, and the splash damage is really, really bad. I try out core, hardcore, different game modes, none of them really with any success. Eventually, I finally decided to try out the 20v20 skirmish mode on the very big maps, and it's with this strat that I finally start making a little bit of progress. Since these maps are so big, there's a lot of players that love sniping, but the snipers have a disadvantage because of the sniper glint, so it's a lot easier to see them. And now I'm having a bit of an epiphany, realizing that this god-awful glorified Spartan laser of a gun is pretty much just a very bad sniper rifle without any sniper glint. And with this knowledge, I can camp in high areas of the map looking for snipers that are standing still and try to outsnipe them with my launcher. I managed to get a couple of cool double kills over the course of going for this challenge, and honestly, after figuring out how to get the double kills, I was having a ton of fun doing it. In about 3 hours since the start of my shift, I get the first Arc Light camo of the challenge. That means the arrow is up next, and getting double kills with this should surely be way easier, right? Well, this launcher actually does some amount of splash damage, so all I should have to do is find 2 enemies stacked on top of each other. Well, honestly, I think I was probably overrating how good this launcher would be because it's still pretty bad. The splash damage is not as good as you would expect from a launcher. It takes a very long time to aim in and fire, so if an enemy is looking at you at all, they're probably killing you before you can get a rocket off. And the reload speed is abysmal, so I thought you wouldn't be able to reload in time and still get a double kill. I learned later on that I could have actually shot a rocket, got a kill, reloaded, shot another rocket immediately and got another kill, and it would have counted for a double, so with that in mind, I did make it even harder than the challenge actually was. But honestly, who can blame me? Look at how long this reload animation is. Eventually, the strat for this gun that I settled on was hardcore hardpoint. This way, it would maximize my chance of enemies being stacked up in the hardpoint and make it so that flak jacket wouldn't cause me as many problems, and the kill radius of the splash damage would be a tiny bit wider. With that strat and a little over 2 hours of grinding, I got both Arc Light launcher challenges done. With my goal for the whole shift already being done, I have a little over 2 hours to spare for some other challenges. Like I said, I'm trying to be the best team player that I can be here and leave the stronger weapons for my 2 teammates. So naturally, I bust out the combat knife and start slashing. This weapon needs 80 melee kills to get through the military camo challenges, and in an absolutely shocking turn of events, I start destroying lobbies. I have no idea what got into me, but playing with a knife is feeling so much easier than any gun or launcher that I've used so far. I literally get all 80 melee kills with the knife done in 40 minutes. So I gotta keep this knife train rolling and equip the flatline to go for those knife kills next. And somehow, I also get those kills done in another 40 minutes. I am slamming through these challenges right now. This leaves me with a little bit of spare time before Ratty's shift to start working on the special camos for the flatline. I make some good progress, but I don't have quite enough time to actually get it gold.
In a blessed turn of events, I start my third shift once again, almost prestige. So I'll have to make executive decisions about how to deal with that. Good, I'm the one who should be doing that, surely. To finish off the last levels, I end up working on the NPC 25 and getting most of the headshots done before the prestige actually happens, which at least is a solid start to my day. To start off prestige 2, I was still kind of tired and fumbled a little bit. I ended up using the early unlock on the NPC, but I was waffling between that and the gunfighter perk for more weapon attachments for a bit, so I didn't actually use it on this shift. Instead, I started with the MK78, an LMG, to level up and get some progress on it before I unlocked the RK9. This is a burst SMG, and I think it's going to be ass, so I decided to take it from the boys. And guess what? It is total ass. I thought I hated the burst sniper, but at least that was comically bad. This thing is fucking frustratingly bad. Like, there are so many times I almost hit headshots or almost finished kills and just didn't quite manage it. Maybe the fatigue of streaming till 6 AM was settling in, but I found myself more tilted with this gun than I had been previously. I'm still trying to take on worse guns for the boys, but my will to do that is waning. I'll tell you right now, I'm not doing shotguns. I do eventually get the headshots and special challenges of 50 kills with the suppressor and 50 kills while moving. Then the dogshit challenge came. 30 kills on an enemy affected by your tactical equipment. Tactical equipment are things like flashbangs and stuns, and this challenge is ass. Trying to force it to happen is just very annoying. Like, if I have time to throw a stun at someone, they definitely have time to notice me and fuck me. Naturally, this challenge would be fine, but trying to force it to happen quickly is very bad. So I decided to abuse the free-for-all game mode. This mode has very readable and consistent spawns, so it is much easier for me to know where people will be and try to pre-stun them and swoop in for the kill. Also, no teammates to steal kills, which was another problem I was having. This was better, but it's still really slow. I consistently got a few kills a game though, and at one point even 10 in one game, which was electric. It was the worst challenge I've done so far, but the tech kinda worked and I got it done. After that atrocity, the kill streaks felt like a dream and I escaped the hellhole of the RK9. Another bad gold down. I decided to use the Razor next to keep up the SMG streak. I'm also starting to think it might be more beneficial to speed through easy stuff and then let the boys handle the more annoying challenges. That could be the frustration talking though, but whatever. Tragically, this gun is turning out to be even worse. I'm getting actual hit markers on headshots in hardcore with this weapon. I've never seen that in my life, dude. It's still better than the RK9 though. It was more of a grind than I had hoped to get the military and special camos done with this weapon, and it actually took me till the end of my shift to finish it. Got it done without too much hassle, just very slow. I do return to the NPC now and managed barely to get all the headshots done to finish off my section for today. I was hoping to do more than 3 gold guns today because I was on SMGs, but they ended up being a little more challenging than I expected. I'm gonna let Tanner finish this one.
My third shift gets to start off hot. Ryan left me a sub with all of the headshot challenges done, so all I have to do is the real fun part and complete the special camos and gold camo, which went by incredibly fast. I combined 50 kills while using 8 attachments with the 50 kills while using a suppressor, and then quickly completed 15 sliding kills while doing the first 2, leaving me with an easy gold camo grind. And after getting that weapon gold, we get to return to our beloved Jaeger pistol. And since we finished all the headshots during my last shift, we only needed the special camos and gold camos for this pistol as well. The first 2 special camos were very simple and easy: get kills without taking damage 30 times, and then get 50 kills while moving, which both were done in hardcore, but the third challenge was a new challenge which was specific to secondary weapons. Get 15 kills shortly after switching weapons, which wasn't too hard. All it meant was I was just pressing my triangle button more than I wanted to, making sure to switch weapons more around corners and more where I thought an enemy would be. But at this point in the camo grind, the Jaeger has been my favorite weapon by far. It felt just like a hardcore monster, and getting it gold felt like the most fun to me. The 3 kills without dying for gold flew by, and when I would use this gun, I felt like I would go on these insane kill streaks. So with some good momentum on my side, I wanted to venture out into some of the harder guns like the marksman rifles, and specifically the Warden, a single shot marksman rifle which we needed to get headshots on. This was one I was more worried about, as it's basically a sniper that we need headshots for instead of the one-shot medals, So to make sure I would have a better shot at getting headshots, I went into core. That way I'd be able to survive just a little longer while trying to aim for the head. But because the Warden was basically a revolver turned into a sniper, that fast fire rate made it easier to secure a headshot, honestly making me have a fun time using it. And, you know, going back into core and getting the Warden headshots wasn't that bad. It felt like I was dumping on kids, and whenever I'd miss a shot, it was probably going to be a body shot, and this gun would still be able to one-shot people in core at just about any range, so I was just dumping on kids. You know, it was early to say, but at the time, this gun felt insanely overpowered. 80 headshots later, and the 3 easy special camos were up. 30 one-shot kills, so I stayed in core where it was already one-shotting people. 50 kills with 5 or more attachments, that's literally the easiest challenge of all, and 30 objective kills, which meant I just got to go play more hardpoint. An easy special camo challenge set done, and gold came up pretty quickly. This was one of the only gold camo grinds where I did try and stay back just a little more and try and play a little more passively and really secure those 3 kills without dying. But now that we had the Warden gold, and with the account at a high enough level, I could switch to one of the later game ARs we still had to do. So I opted for the DS20 Mirage. Like before with all of the ARs, we get 80 headshots, complete the 3 special camos, which actually did contain a new one, 50 kills with a 4 times or higher magnification scope on, nothing too crazy, and then the 3 kills without dying for gold. But here's where the Torsad crash out begins. Getting that gun gold was all fun and games because that was me using the good guns. Now it was time for me to use some of the bad guns, like the shotguns. And these things blew fucking chunks. For those of you who don't know, you need to get 80 point blank kills, and with these shotguns, you literally had to shove it up their butt. And with the faster time to kill in BO7, getting an up close kill was insanely painful, combined with the slow slide to fire rate, making this challenge atrocious, and then leading to me have the eventual couch crash out.
Never fear, Papa Bush is back to save Torsads from himself and let him go to bed. I pick up where I left off with the knife special camo challenges. The only challenging one of the 3 here is the weapon swap kill challenge. I work on this knife for a while before realizing that I should just wait until I unlock Ninja at level 52. As Ratty mentioned earlier, it's kind of dumb for us to be prestiging, and this is one of the reasons why. But I will admit it was a fun time to always be the highest level in the lobby. In the meantime, I decide to go for the military camo challenges on the shotguns. These are a little different from most of the other weapons because instead of headshots, I need to be getting point-blank kills. I know Torsads was crashing out about this weapon earlier, but that's why I'm here, to do all the dog shit challenges that the other 2 don't want to be doing. Honestly, I don't feel like this challenge is too bad. It's a little finicky because you do have to be very close for the point blanks to count, but it's honestly not the worst thing in the world. The point blanks on the breacher go by quickly, and I'm on to this absolute beast of a weapon, the Akita. I, again, have to get 80 point blanks, but honestly, the only problem that I'm running into with this weapon is that I'm running out of ammo. It's honestly just shredding through everything that I pointed at, and I breeze through the point blanks for this weapon as well. After that, I go for the Akita special camos, and just look at how easy these are. Kills while moving, hip firing, and sliding. All things that are essentially just using the weapon normally. I get past the special camos very quickly and move on to the gold camo that I also don't really struggle with at all. I'm feeling good and breezing through these challenges. After that, I go back to the breacher for the special and gold camo challenges, and much like the Akita, they both are not that tough. In about 4 hours, I've managed to get both of these shotguns gold, and I have leveled up enough to start using the melee weapons again with Ninja for silent footsteps. I quickly finish up the combat knife special challenges and move on to the flatline special challenges, which are going to be much more problematic. There's a challenge to get 30 melee kills on enemies that are affected by your tactical equipment. At the end of my previous shift, Ratty and I experimented around with the most effective way to do this. We tried flashes, stuns, and decoys. Flashes and stuns didn't last very long, and decoys were amazing because they lasted forever and have a massive radius, but it seems like the developers expected this and don't count decoys for this challenge. So what I think is actually the best option for this challenge is going to be the EMP grenade, especially with the overclock that makes it have a wider radius. The effect on EMPs lasts for a long time, and like I said, it has a larger radius, so I feel like this is the best option, even though it will do very little for actually disabling the enemy in any way. I spend a little bit of time getting this challenge done, but I do eventually unlock the gold camo challenge for both melee weapons. And with how these knives have been going for me, I'm sure you already know that I breezed through the 3 kill streaks without much of an issue. That's 2 gold shotguns and 2 gold knives done, and with a little bit of time to spare in my shift. I start the final shotgun, the Echo 12. This thing is definitely the worst of the 3, but I do still manage to make some progress before letting Ratty take over.
Sup nerds, Dada's home again, and this time Bushy has prestiged for me. Joy. After a bit of discussion, me and the Bushman decide Ninja is the best use of the permanent unlock. This perk makes your footsteps almost silent, and in this game it does feel like footsteps are loud enough to tip people off to where you are. So we put that on, and it's time to get a little sneaky to get more kills. I start my shift off with the MK78 LMG. I enjoyed this earlier and still enjoy it now. Beaming kids in hardcore is so free with this thing, and the headshots come quick. The special camos are also very easy. Objective kills, kills with 5 attachments equipped, and a really fun one, get 2 kills without releasing the trigger. With like a 100-round magazine, that's honestly not even that bad. I fly through these straight into the kill streaks and have one of my cleanest runs on a gold weapon yet. That was fun, so let's try to keep it that way. I'm going to work on the Velox burst pistol next. The headshots on this were a blast. If you've never played hardcore with a pistol, do it. I delete people left and right and felt kind of like a god doing it. The headshots themselves are a little slow, but I think it's because I'm having a bit too much fun with how good the weapon is. I do tragically finish those, and now I have some not so fun challenges left. 15 kills shortly after sliding, diving, or wall jumping, 30 kills while or shortly after sprinting, and 30 enemies affected by your tac equipment. Fucking tac equipment again, dog. The first 2 aren't that bad, and I do have tech for the last one. Tragically, the pistol's only good in hardcore, and my place slows down a lot here, as hardcore free-for-all is a bit of a camping festival, and getting the kills just takes forever. It sucks, but spawn, throw nades at other spawn, eventually I profit. After that, I just am on getting my kill streaks, and like I said earlier, pistols busted in hardcore. This challenge is a blast, and I clip up some nerds to get it done. I really only did that gun to have time to unlock the second LMG so I can finish that weapon category, to be honest. Time for the XM 325 to shine. This thing has a ton of upwards recoil, which actually kind of helps getting headshots with it. I also miss a lot of easy headshots because of this, but it feels like a net neutral to me. So I grind away at my headshots and get those done before facing another tragedy. Kills with gunfighter equipped and double kills without releasing the trigger 5 times are the first 2 special challenges. Want to guess what the last one is? Yeah, that's right. It's fucking 30 tac kills. Let me go dip my balls in free-for-all and get fucked for an hour while I do this. Oh yeah, fuck me. I love it. Give it to me. I'll stun one guy, kill him, and die 5 times. I don't give a fuck. I'm straight up on full tilt at this point. This has to be the stupidest fucking challenge I've ever seen. Once I'm freed from purgatory, I get to return to the kill streak challenge to finish the gold. I don't know how this specific challenge has been treating the boys, but it feels very free to me, and after a couple games, I finish up my final gold of the shift and hand it off to Torsads. My last words? Fuck the tac challenge, dude.
By my for the shift, almost all of the guns have gotten gold, and really only a few remain, one being the Coda, the full auto pistol. So since I ended up loving the Jaeger, I thought I would also love the Coda, and I was exactly right. But with this pistol, I did change my strategy just a little bit. This acted more like a sub than a pistol, so I opted to use more attachments. That way the fire rate didn't make the recoil insane. And this seemed to work out pretty nicely. I was able to get all of the camos up to gold for the Coda in about 2 hours, making it one of the faster guns to complete. Now is where we get to sort of relax per se and have more fun with the camo grind. Since most of the gold camos are done, I get to start going for the arc light camo. For this camo, we are required to get 10 double kills or better, and in hardcore, this was a piece of cake. It felt like almost in every encounter, I was getting a double kill at least. So needless to say, the arc light camos were getting done at an insane rate. I was on pace to get about 2 arc light camo challenges done every game. So I started with the M15 assault rifle and proceeded to go down the list of ARs, going from the MK to the MXR to the X9 Maverick to the Peacekeeper and ending with the Mirage. After I switched to LMGs, and for these I made sure to have on attachments that made the handling faster, that way it could feel more like an AR. And Arclight for these of course went super fast. Stay back, play a little slower, and the doubles would fall right into my hands. Now with both LMGs done, we're going back to attack the pistols, and I must say I was a little worried, but you know, the pistols in hardcore are insane, so this might have actually been the easiest Arclight I've done. All 3 pistols were insane in hardcore and could rival any AR sub from short or long range. But of course, all good things do have to come to an end, and now we move on to the snipers. Don't get me wrong, I'm not terrible with them, but it's not as easy as, let's say, a Jaeger pistol or an M15 AR. So we struggle to get the Recon Arclight done, barely make any progress on the Shadow SK, and we keep rage quitting games until we let Bushy have his shift.
We are getting very close to finishing now, even though I know it may not look like it based on the tracker. The longest and hardest part of this challenge by far is completing every gold weapon. The Arclight and Tempest challenges are both going to come very quickly after that. With that said, I start my shift with a pretty bad weapon. The Novaline is a 2-round burst DMR, and I need to get 80 headshots for it. 2-round burst is very awkward to try to get headshots with, especially for something as slow as a DMR. Initially, I want to try core for the headshots, but after seeing just how weird it is to line up the headshot by first hitting their body, then letting it kick up into their head, I instead decide to go to hardcore and switch the weapon to single fire mode. I have a lot more success with this method, even though it definitely still is a slow process. At the end of the day, I am in hardcore with a slow firing weapon, aiming for the head, so I kind of have to struggle. Getting the headshots does take me a long time, but once I'm done with them, the special camos are all very easy challenges, and as soon as I'm allowed to aim for something other than the head, getting 3 kill streaks for the gold challenge is also pretty damn easy. Next up is the Carbon, the first time I've used a real gun since the very start of this challenge. And wow, have I gotten a lot better at this in that time. And while this gun did already have some progress on the headshots done, I managed to finish the rest of the gun all the way to gold in under an hour and a half. For the final gold weapon of the challenge, I have to complete the Echo 12. And even though this weapon is just kind of bad, the challenges really don't look too complicated. I get the point blanks in a pretty reasonable amount of time and manage to finish the very simple special camos soon after that. The only exception to the rule here is the objective kill challenge, and that's only because I was sometimes getting stuck in a domination lobby. I think it's a lot easier to play hardpoint for objective kills, that way you don't have to wait on a flag for somebody to come by and give you that objective kill that you're looking for. And after getting the Echo Gold, the account is sitting at 30 out of 30 weapons gold and 14 Arclight challenges already completed. That's well ahead of the pace that I set for myself of just all gold challenges done before 90 hours. The only thing left for me to do is the double kill Arclight challenge for as many weapons as I can, so that I can hopefully set up Ratty and Torsads well to finish off the challenge on their shifts. Truthfully, outside of the launchers and maybe the knives, there's not a whole lot special about the Arclight challenge. I just have to get 10 double kills with each weapon. In the time that I have remaining, I managed to do that for the Echo, Raiden, RK9, Razor, Dravik, Carbon, MPC-25, Breacher, and Akita. That's every shotgun and every SMG. And with that, I leave Ryan at 23 out of 30 Arclights, and honestly, I have to imagine that the boys will finish up this challenge before I get the chance to have another shift.
This is it. The final push is here, and I'm ready to go ham, gentlemen. Bushy has left me with 7 Arclight camos to get before we go to Tempest. Let's do it. First, I have to finish double kills with the Sounding Rod. I enjoy this a lot, and there isn't a ton of tech here. I just run like a maniac, get behind people, and start shanking. It takes longer than one would hope, but I'm an agile, quick rat, and I get it done to start off my shift. Next up are a few guns, and I feel like I can clump these together. The Shadow SK, XR3 Ion, Warden, Novaline, and M8 all get done in hardcore. I'm low-key dropping clips on all of these. I'm going on kill streaks, dropping multi-kills, absolutely feeling myself now that my only mission is to kill. I've had so much to think about and work on each shift, just having to shit on people is a true blessing. And finally, I just had the knife. Same tech as the Sounding Rod. Sneak up, pop a kill, pray for a second. This is slow, but it's literally my last hurdle before Tempest, and as was inevitable, I get it done. Now it's time for Tempest. There are only 2 challenges for this camo across all weapon classes. For launchers, you have to get 5 kills in a match 3 times. Not bad. And for all other weapons, you need 5 kills in one life 3 times. This is why I'm here though. Put me in, coach. I went on a heater. Across the end of my shift, I put down 25 out of 30 of the Tempest camos for the squad. And I was a bitch about it. I did every weapon except for 1 submachine gun, the launchers, and both melee weapons. Have fun, Tanner. Hope you enjoy the worst weapons.
So it's my last shift. I wake up at 6 a.m. and the boys have blessed me with probably the worst set of challenges we have yet to complete. get Tempest on the last SMG, the Carbon, get Tempest on both the launchers, which honestly isn't too terrible. We just need 5 kills in a match 3 times. And by far the worst of it all, Tempest on both knives. So to start the shift from hell, we load into hardcore to have our last bit of fun getting 5 kills without dying 3 times with the Carbon. And now we finish Tempest for the submachine guns. Now for the launchers and knives. Here's where we have to really craft our classes for success, making sure to have on perks like Ninja, Dexterity, and Lightweight. That way we could sneak around the map at insane speeds with the knives. So every match I would load into, I would first start by testing the waters with the knives to see if I was able to get kills semi-easily. And you know, some lobbies had more noobs than others, and in these lobbies I would tend to use the knife a little more, as the knife bloodthirsties were the hardest challenge by far. And every match where a knife wasn't working would be a launcher game. This is where I would try to get the 5 launcher kills in a single game. So naturally the Tempest challenge for the launchers went pretty quickly. Some struggle here and there. The arc launcher is actual hot ass with its charging shots, but not the hardest thing we faced on the camo grind. And then came the true challenge of any camo grind, locking in for the knife kills. Totally a huge change of pace, so I had to make sure to pick maps I knew had tight congested areas where I could move quickly and easily get kills. So places like Express where I could play around mid-map in the tiny hallways would be perfect. And each map, I would basically turn out my volume on my head to an ear-blistering volume to make sure I could hear literally everyone's footstep on the map. Camp around corners, and jump out when I heard a single footstep, leaving us with the most intense way to end the camo grind.
Hostile counter UAV above.
I just need to get behind again.
Losing Alpha. We've lost all zones. Taking A. Securing Alpha.
Are they letting me?
That guy is.
No shot.
Alpha secure. Locking down Charlie.
Our hero. Our fucking knight in shining armor, Dead Hood.
TACOM, get me a UAV. Locking down Bravo.
I love you!
Invis.
Be secure.
Oh! Show up, please. Was that 4?
That's 4.
No, it is.
There it is. Oh, fuck. Holy shit. Woo! Oh my god, boys.
What a fucking goat that guy is.
Shout out Dead Hood.
Oh my god.
My fucking hero.
He knew.
He knew.
He knew.
Yo, shift enter.
Established overhead.
Just drop a thank you.
Oh
Don't
my
say anything
God.
specific, but just drop a thank you.
I can't even type.
Thank you. I love you more than you will ever know. What a hero, bro. The hero of the fucking journey.
Did we leave? Go put it on?
Oh, yeah.
Let's take a look. Ugh, I look sick.
All right, it looks much better. Like in
It looks dark in
yeah, in the creator class thing, it looks dark as fuck.
Free for all.
But in this, you didn't put it on the
Eyes up.
knife.
Victims hot. We're not here for
God
a
damn it.
tour.
I put on the sounding rod.
In game, it looks a lot better. That looks really good.
100 hours and 25 minutes. Final thoughts on the grind. I enjoyed this significantly more. I'm gonna be honest, I did not want to do this. Oh, I know.
We all know.
We're aware. So fun, I would consider us practicing Call of Duty a month before and maybe thinking about doing Master Prestige. I don't think I've ever been more happy than seeing that guy stand still. It's like God was shining a light.